Action. Hey guys, it's Jason Wampler. Another episode of An Axe to Grind. Not the Rocket Minute. This is An Axe to Grind. Hey, I hit factory reset on my phone and I chose the option to shoot a video, a 3-minute video on YouTube. And now I'm only getting the option for 15 minutes or 60 seconds. So I like the 3-minute format because it kept me honest and it kept me short. And I shoot the Rocket Minute. I'd say I'd keep it to 15, 20, 30 minutes. And I'd be looking down at the timer, and for God's sake, I'd be droning on and on for 2 hours. And you know, I'm not that good looking of a fella, and rocket construction, sounding rocket airframe construction, materials research, it's a dry subject. I'm very passionate about it. But 2 hours of it is like, watching, a 2-hour video made by BBC about the history of dentistry in Scotland. I just, it'd be kind of hard to keep yourself awake through something that exciting. The 3-minute format kept me honest. It kept me from droning on. But I think what I'm going to do is, because I'm on Scoops now. I'm involved with Scoops. I suppose I should go ahead and get involved with TikTok and TikTok. TikTok. Is that what it's called? TikTok. I most certainly hope these social fascists in Washington D.C., the same ones that want to burn the U.S. Constitution, I hope they don't do anything to limit rights and freedoms that are afforded by channels like YouTube, Scoops, and TikTok. TikTok is fantastic. It's just a little bit more flamboyant and colorful and youthful and stylish. YouTube is a little bit more towards adult, arch conservative, historical, a lot of horror. The John Bolin show. John Bolin, he hasn't broken into Scoops, and I think he's on TikTok, but I'm not sure. John Bolin is a ex-military, he's a storyteller, fireside, camp story, ghost teller extraordinaire. The guy is in top form. He's the best at what he does. My shout out to John Bolin, by the way. Thank you for your service, and thank you for my freedom. He's an ex-military service member. I think he was a Navy SEAL, but I can't be sure about that. I believe we have a holiday coming up celebrating the significance of the efforts and lives of all of our U.S. veterans. Veterans Day, Memorial Day is coming up. Forgive my ignorance. Anyway, see, I'm already at the 3 mark right now, so going by YouTube's format, I would have blown the whole show. And this is what I mean. This is what I want to talk about. This is an episode of An Axe to Grind. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm really comfortable Sunday nights for whatever reason. Involvement in the media isn't, what do we call it, a skin-deep surface attraction. I have a surface attraction to building cars, to designing engines. I have a deep burning attraction, a deep burning passion to build rockets. I love rockets more than life itself. I love rockets a little bit too much. Haven't had a girlfriend in 20 years because of it. So shout out to Lynette Hollister, my ex-girlfriend. Shout out to Kathy Zarkozine. I kind of would like to have asked her out. I kind of blew it with her. A couple other girls I blew with. But see, we're at the 4-minute mark and I'm still blathering on. This is an episode of An Axe to Grind. It's going to be a little bit longer in format. Folks, in good taste, I'm going to try to keep it between 15 and 20 minutes. I really don't want to go longer than 20 minutes. But I've got something to talk about that's fairly interesting. In this country, I don't know why this type of behavior is fostered or what supports it. But I have been a victim of this as well, of severe child abuse in our nation's public school systems, namely in preschool. And you're thinking to yourself, well, that's about as important as the ice cream machines at McDonald's breaking down. Who cares? Well, I was watching Scoops, boy, now I have Scoops, TikTok, and YouTube to watch, and there aren't enough hours in a day, plus I'm starting a new work contract I've taken on a huge uh, uh, mechanics mechanical service and repair client. I'm starting on Tuesday, 40 hours a week, $25 an hour, and we'll see how long that contract goes. At least long enough to pay a couple more months of rent and send some more money to Durant's Publishing, get my book published, make money that way. But speaking of which, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. I was watching Scoops tonight, and Scoops offers you a cadre, a cache of different subjects that you might be interested in. 2 times in a row, there are stories, shorts about child abuse and child neglect in preschool. One African American kid, the son of an African American couple, he had autism, and for whatever reason, I guess he got into a scuffle or a scrape with one of the instructors there, one of the teachers there. They sat on him. I don't know what that did, but then they put the kid under a blanket, and he'd been dead for an hour. His body was stiff. You know, it's one thing, you get, as a white person, you get used to the fact that black people don't get the swiftest, most accurate, and most comprehensive justice in this country. I'm sick of it. I don't like it. I don't like racism. I don't like the fact that certain groups of people, because of their skin color, don't get true justice when they need it the most. I don't know what I can do. I'm just one person, but I can speak out against it. But this problem doesn't play favorites. Now I'm going to get to the next point. The second story is like, what the hell? There's a little white kid, and I thought it was going to be a little blonde-haired kid. His side of his face was swollen. He had a scratch on it. I thought it was going to be the story about the kid who protected his sister from a dog, and that story broke on YouTube, and I was impressed. Little 6-year-old boy protecting his 5-year-old sister from a dog. And his whole side of his face had just been swollen up. Well, this cat had blonde-haired, blue-eyed, little white kid, Caucasian kid, 4 or 5 years old. The narrator said, well, he dropped off at daycare, and this time I picked him up. And the story was, and as a gentleman, the white Caucasian male, 30-something, red beard, redneck, heartland America, bread and butter, U.S. American citizen. And he was describing the situation, and apparently a woman, 55 years old, decided to beat on this kid. I'm not entirely sure why, but 55-year-old woman beating a little 5-year-old boy, disfiguring his face like that, at least temporarily. And he was going off saying, and I guess I praise him for his passion, but yeah, he is going to go to prison if he acts on his thoughts and he doesn't do it smart. He went off and he said, I don't care if I go to prison. What I'm going to do to that person if I catch up with him is going to be worse than a wood chipper. And he's in a rural area that, this is, Heartland America. I understand your passion, sir. There's a smarter way to do things. Now, in my case, because my mother had steep mental disorders due to bipolar, manic depression, and back in 1975, when I was 5 years old, this happened to me. I was in preschool. I was 5 years old. We took a nap. I decided to take it upon myself to get up off the floor mat, walk over to the teacher, and politely ask, how much longer we're going to have to lay down? I couldn't sleep. I did 5 years old. I don't like taking naps because there's nothing to do but lay in bed and think about how the sun lights out. I'm not tired. When the sun goes down, 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I'll go to bed. I'll wake up in the morning at 7 o'clock. I had a routine going. Why the hell do I want to take a nap? So I asked her that, and she proceeded to beat me as hard as she could on the back of the head. Now, I haven't really told anybody this. I don't know why I haven't told anybody this, but I'm telling you now. And I'm relating this because of the fact I thought it was very interesting that this late day and age, 2025, so we're move forward 50 years. I'm 55 years old. It's happened when I was 5, so 75 to 25, it's 50 years. The same thing's happening. I'm just curious. I'm curious about a couple things. Number one, first and foremost, what leads up to the thought process? What is the thought process that leads up to the decision to beat or neglect or physically assault a little 5-year-old boy? Why would a woman get that in their head to do something like that, especially if she's running some type of daycare. I'm trying to wrap my head around it the same way I would about pedophiles, who men who stalk little 10-year-old girls and rape and kill them. Of course, not the ones who get beaten to death by their fathers, like the ones in Texas. Don't mess with Texas. You gotta love the place, man. um, and I'm by the way, I'm for that man, that father who beat the man to death who was raped his daughter. Fortunately, the man didn't actually kill his daughter, but raping your daughter, raping your little 4-year-old daughter, the guy beats him to death. You know what? I mean, you pull that kind of crap, and the dad walks in the room. What do you expect? I mean, so I'm on the father's side on that one. I don't care what anybody thinks. I am a redneck, so my parents are German Irish mountain men from Wisconsin and West Virginia. So that's pretty much that. So when the lady beat me on the back of the head, she beat me so hard. Evidently she put pressure. That my back of my head had swollen, and put pressure on a section of the brain that controls eyesight, which is really interesting. I saw a show a long time ago where a guy was shot in the back of the head. The bullet grazed and penetrated the back of his head, and he went blind from the gunshot. I think it was a fictitious show, some cops and robbers show. I was hit in the same area. I went temporarily blind. I was blind for about 2 hours, and my eyesight gradually came back. But I remember I was crying because I was stressed out. I was wondering, how am I going to get home? I'm blind. I can't see to get my way home. And, for a little 5-year-old boy to have to worry about something like that. But, my mom, I lived with my mom and my grandparents, and it was about as dysfunctional and toxic as it gets, without the abusive speech, the screaming, and the fist fights and everything. But it was pretty bad. 5 years old, I was held to accountability. If somebody beat me up, my grandparents would ask me, well, what did you do to deserve it? For whatever reason, as far as I know, I don't know what, if anything, was ever done about this, but at 5 years of age, I wasn't informed. I got my eyesight back. I seem to think I might have mentioned it to my parents before. My grandparents and my mother, there was 4 of us in the house at 284 Monte Vista. And for whatever reason, I don't think they took any action. They would have talked to me about this. I would have known. At 5 years of age, I know something. Maybe I was 6. Because first grade is 7. I was 7 years old. Kindergarten was 6 years old. This was before. So I was probably I was like 5 years old. And my birthday is on January the 18th. So yeah, it took place in 1975. I do want to say this, though. The universe has a way of paying you back for all you do, good or bad. So, anyway, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You're going to see this same video. You're going to see the same video, depending on how the video uploading format works, on TikTok and on Scoops. By the way, I recommend all 3 video platforms. YouTube is absolutely positively number 1. Close second, both Scoops and TikTok would probably be competing for second place. But I gotta tell you, Scoops, if you're not prepared for it, it is pretty raw and real, and it contains some uncensored material that might get you a little unhinged. Parents, you want to be careful and monitor your children's exposure to Scoops. It is, frankly, it's a little raw and real. It's a little too uncensored. It can kind of get you worked up, so be careful. I'm 55 years old. I just started watching it about 3 weeks ago. When I watched it 3 weeks ago, I'm still 55 years old, and I got worked up, and I got as angry as a 17-year-old football player, which I'm not. I'm a 55-year-old engineer and mechanic trying to leave a blog and make some money. And so that's my story to tell. And my axe to grind again is this. I don't really think about what did or didn't happen to that woman who hit me on the back of the head. Obviously, I have my eyesight back and I'm fine. I do think about it from time to time, and I'd say I spit on your grave, a pox on you, that sort of thing. If I saw her today, I would actually be a little bit apprehensive because, if she saw my size, I weigh 250 pounds. if she's alive and I told her who I was and what happened, I'm pretty sure she'd probably wet her pants and take out a restraining order against me, which I'm not going to hurt her. I've been to jail about 4 times. It's not fun. I've never been to prison. Wow, I don't want to go there. You know, you can glamorize prison all you want, but that ain't for me. I just love my freedom. So I got a couple of small businesses to run, and like I said, I'm starting a new work contract on Tuesday. That's exciting. I got 4 books I'm trying to get published at the same time. Yada yada yada. I got rockets to build, so I've got the communications business, which is Wampler Company, which handles this in the book writing. Then I have the other business, which is called AB Engineer Co., which is basically aerospace, automotive design, engineering. So I got 2 businesses going on. It's not like I'm trying to spread a wide net. It's just that, well, I'm just passionate about a lot of things. So writing is absolutely positively liberating. Now, that's the subject for the next time. But the axe to grind is this again. I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried about this little blonde-haired white boy, white kid, because he's alive. You know, what's going to be done about that? As far as the young African American kid, the autistic kid, I can understand maybe why something would have happened, because autistic kids, their behavior is different. It's hard to understand it. They have to be clearly identified as autistic. They almost need to have a button on their lapel, because autistic kids can be very, very difficult because of their mental condition. They had to be handled by people who understand how to interact with them properly and safely. And he was just a kid. So what did she do to him? The blog said she sat on him till he stopped moving. Well, what if she broke something, or what if the kid suffocated under her huge ass? 55-year-old woman beating on a little autistic boy, a 4-year-old autistic black kid. Come on, man. So the kid is dead. So I'm really, really, really upset about that. And I understand more and more each day that the African American, the Black American community, why they're up in arms. It isn't about slavery anymore. It's about how their lives are just, there's no value placed on the African American, the lives of the African Americans. And it's not their behavior, it's the fact that it just seems like nobody really, it's like Black Americans, they're like secondhand citizens. They don't get justice, they don't get consideration. Nobody respects their lives. They get the longest prison sentences, they get the harshest judgments in court. They have to work twice as hard to be half as good and paid a quarter as much. You know, I just, I don't know. I mean, I live in South Central, and I'm seeing this more secondhand. But see, we're at the 18-minute mark, and this is what I'm talking about. 3-minute format really kept me honest. 18 minutes is 3 minutes too long. Frankly, I would like to keep an axe to grind down to 10 minutes or less. But my axe to grind is this. What kind of country do we live in where this type of behavior is enabled and insulated and not prosecuted? Because the complaint, the gentleman with the red beard who has his I guess that was his son or his nephew, his complaint was the justice system sucks. I don't want to cuss. I'm not going to say any more. I'm not going to use profanity or abusive speech. So my axe to grind is what kind of country is this that fosters this type of behavior towards the children? And if it happened in 1975, exactly how much has our culture changed? But now it's 2025, and the same thing's happening. In fact, children are dying, and it's gotten worse with school shootings and whatnot and such and so forth. So, and what really is to blame? Well, you know what? When I figure that one out, that'll be another episode of an axe to grind. We can talk about that too. Anyway, my name is Jason Wampler. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I think I'm kind of reasonably, decently, kind of okay looking, so I'm not going to do things in black and white anymore. I'm going to grow a steady hand and just try to get my best side. I'm putting a little more effort to stylize my hair, get the right, getting the right shampoo, shooting these episodes at night, lighting, everything. I'm trying to be more aesthetically pleasing to look at, but I want the subject matter to be relevant. And again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I've gotten a lot of views, at least my views are climbing at least a little bit, so the more you put into it, the longer you hang around, the more established you become. But folks, I'm not getting any comments. I don't know what's going on. Now, I always enable comments to the umpteenth degree. You can say anything you want, including video and audio remixing of my videos, and leave all the comments you want as long as you want, and say anything you want. I'm not getting any comments. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow me, and I just do this as a matter of second nature. Every Saturday or Sunday night, so you can count on one 20-minute episode repeated in 3 different formats and 3 different channels once a week. We'll do it that way. I couldn't do it more than once a week. I'm just too busy. But I do enjoy this. It's kind of like I'm talking to a friend. I appreciate it, you guys. I appreciate whoever does view. I want likes. I want subscribes. I want comments, please. I want to interact. I want you people. I want you to comment. Feel free to comment. Say anything you want for or against whatever it is that I had to say. Now, I'm not going to react at you for having an opinion. People have opinions. No 2 people are alike. So please hit the like, hit the subscribe, but leave a comment. Short and brief, or as long as you want. Say anything you want. My name is Jason Wampler. This is my show, AnAxToGrind, and I'm the host. And we will see you again with another episode next week, either Saturday night or Sunday night, whenever I feel like it. Grainy, in color, with very, very little or no light, in my office / bedroom in South Central Los Angeles. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.